Just came home from.
What was the comment, by the way? In my fat experience, it has always been easier to hook up with an extremely hot guy than with an average dude. In my fat experience. Yeah, I don't think you're ready for the truth of why that is. You're like the easy layup practice chick. He doesn't show off to his friends. Oof. Ew. Plus you're the fat chick, so you give it up a lot easier. That's just the brutal truth.
Is this so true? This for just a minute. So the comments in the original video are just mostly so vile and hateful, but those really don't bother me all that much because I've been experiencing fat phobia my entire life. I've got a pretty thick skin. And
why do they have to rename it fat phobia? It's just being disgusted at fat people. It's disgust. Why do we have to call it a phobia? Nobody's scared. You don't look at a fat person and you go, oh my god, I'm afraid for my life. You know, like arachnophobia. There's people who genuinely look at a spider and freeze in fear. Nobody ever freezes in fear from a fat person. Stop. This is like this alternate reality they live in.
And I love myself. I'm really confident in who I am and in my body and in the way that I look.
Can you be ho-phobic? Can you have a ho-phobia then? Can we just start using the language, little conversion they use for language, right? Can we double speak too? I'm afraid of hoes. I got ho-phobia. Or phobic. I mean, come on, think of some funny ones.
But what really gets me are what I think are well-intentioned comments that say things like, well, hot guys sleep with fat girls because they don't care what you look like, because they have all of the social capital that they already need. Which, no, that implies that fat women still are not hot and that our bodies are either still just looked over or reserved specifically for fetishes. That's not the case. Fat women are hot. Let us be hot. Acknowledge it.
I have to start this off by addressing the importance of what is going to be said is purely in response to subjects of these videos, and in no way does this channel condone any kind of harassment. That said, ladies, keep...
Yes, we have to preface the video, unfortunately. We're not generalizing, we're not bullying, we're not trying to harm another individual. We're simply opening up some dialogue in regards to things going on in the culture. Some people may personally get offended. It is not our intention, guys. Okay, YouTube. So, just a fair warning. Topics discussed herein may offend some viewers. Please turn it off if you are one of those people. Thanks. Let's have a conversation.
Keep in mind, the bulk of you demand men to be honest. Honesty is never a soft blow. It's just what it is. If you can't handle that, I suggest you stop watching this video right now. Queen. The reasons hot guys are easier to hook up with than average guys when you are a plus-size woman is because A, obviously he is hotter than an average guy. B, hot guys know you will pick them over an average guy, which, in their minds, they see plus-size women as more willing participants.
Layups.
Hot guys may erroneously think that hooking up with a plus-size woman will require less time or effort than a highly attractive, slender woman. D. Hot guys tend to have a plan B for when their pipes are backed up and their main woman is not available. Hence, they pick plus-size women as their plan B. E. Plus-size women tend to take advantage of sleeping with a hot guy because they get less attention from men in general, so...
I said pipe crash dummy. You guys are brutal. It's interesting to note too, right? That the average overweight woman has been sold, I don't know, man, what you could call this, like delusion from the mainstream that they quite literally are attractive, right? Society finds you attractive. And then you have an army of soy simpy dudes from the left side of the aisle that actually says, yeah, I think that's like beautiful, the way you are, love women's body naturally. But the model's natural too. They always make it seem like models don't have natural, that's unattainable beauty standards, models. Okay, so what's a male model look like? Have you seen male models? I haven't seen a single fat male model, but there's fat female models everywhere. Nobody wants to see a dude with a beer belly modeling underwear, ever. All of them have six packs. All of them are ripped. All of them are muscular. Hey Eric, how are you doing? Love your content, keep up the good work. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the support.
He is hot, they're gonna tap him quick. As to this queen's comments that plus size women are hot and let them be hot, I don't see anyone stopping them from doing what they want. If she's referring to men in general, not saying plus size women are hot, well, I hate to break it to this queen. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and preferences. Let me put it this way, ladies. Men don't tell her or other Western women in general who they need to be attracted to. Women are free to choose. And that's in fairness. Men are free to choose who they find hot. I don't doubt there are individuals out there that fetishize plus size women, but that is the point. To each their own. Moving on.
So I just finished work today. I saw 6 clients, and I'm going to go live in a little bit and talk about this, but I wanted it to reach more people. You know, many years ago, my now ex-husband said to me, if you ever get fat, I'll leave you. And I lived in constant fear of being left because weight's always been a struggle for me. And I spent most of that 16 years I was with him on a diet of some kind and not being happy. Today I saw a young woman who said that her boyfriend of 4 years said that he can't give her all his love because he doesn't want her to get too comfortable. I know not all men are pigs. I know there's a lot of great guys out there.
Oh my God, spare us. Ryan, I don't mess with big girls. I'm paranoid on getting trapped. Oh my God. Claustrophobic much?
But man, oh man, I run into the pigs.
Again, ladies, you all want honesty from men, and like this queen's case, she got it. Oh boy, fam, now she's living in fear and not happy. Apparently, she wasn't that unhappy since she stuck around so many years. And please, don't hit me with the story of suffering on a diet for years. It is amazing how women will point out how men didn't make them happy because of the things they didn't do for them, while at the same time, claim they weren't happy because their man wanted them to stay in a healthy weight. And fam, yes, the CDC has a list of health effects of overweight and obesity. Link in the description. They didn't post that out of some type of shaming. They actually posted that to bring...
Also, there's so many overweight people today that it's gotten normalized. So, you know, that's gluttony. That's, at the end of the day, your body is showing the world that you can't stop shoving food down your gullet. You're overeating. That's how bodies work. Calories in, calories out. You're eating too goddamn much every single day. Therefore, you're putting on weight. And so many people are doing this in the West now because of all the excess we have. And they've normalized it. And now they're trying. Remember, just recently on the news, there was a overweight some woman that says airlines need to cater to fat people and like by default give them bigger seats or something like that just because you're fat. So not only are you a glutton and overeat while they're starving people in the rest of the world, right? And you want to tell us you're the oppressed one because the airplane seats aren't big enough to fit you because you're that obese. And that's something. Like entitlement to somebody fat, it's what a paradox there. It's mind-blowing to watch somebody who's entitled to so much food feel like the world's against them when a chair breaks under their weight. It's a fat-phobic society. They don't make chairs for us big people. America, please.
Health awareness. Also, she said the guy who told his girlfriend, her client, he can't give her all his love because he doesn't want her to get too comfortable is an oinker of sorts. Ladies, can you please point out exactly how this guy is abusing his girlfriend and what exactly is keeping her from dumping him? Rhetorical question there, fam. That's like asking Mario, what's keeping him from telling Princess Peach, I'm tired of having to save you every couple of weeks. You don't think I suspect you are going over to Bowser's castle for him to lay a pipe? Fam, the point is, take accountability for your choices. If you don't like diets and don't care about being at a healthy weight, then you should leave the relationship if it really doesn't make you happy.
Avery thinks if most people are overweight now and we need to protect minorities, why aren't in-shape people being advocated for? That's a good question. In-shape people are a very small minority of the population. Nobody caters to our hard work. That's what you call equity in play, boys. Equality. Outcome, not opportunity. You know, you worked your ass off to get a six-pack, get muscular. All the days you spent eating your shitty, bland diet, you know, some obese person should be able to come through and get a modeling contract, you know, with the same statistical chance you have. So they sit at home, overeat, while you're in the gym working your ass off. But you should both get the job. Equity, baby. Isn't that great?
Queens, if indulging in comfort food a few times every week makes you happier than being in a marriage, then grab all your things, leave, and head straight to the nearest supermarket. You both will be happier that way. Moving on.
Hey girls, it's Tiff, and here's how to date when you suck at dating.
Bruh. That's all I gotta say there. Eric, thanks. I'm old enough to remember when fat people were very rare. Pre-1980s, you only saw fat people at carnival sideshows. Yeah. You know what's also nuts? What's going on, Santos? In Discord, for example, fat people, overweight people is already considered like a protected class. We're really on the precipice here in the West of labeling anything and everything like protected, including fat people, right? Gender, get it. Race, skin color, all that, get it. Makes sense, right? You're born with all these. But now, even income, even where you get your income, which is specifically geared towards OnlyFans chicks. So Discord will ban your server if you make fun of people in ways they get their income, aka sex workers. You will get your Discord server banned if you make fun of overweight people, because that's fat shaming. If you make fun of skinny people, because that's, I guess, skinny shaming, and why not? Fit phobic, yeah. Asia is another big person nightmare. Everything's small. Yeah. By the way, we're working on that private community, guys. I'm going to do a video dedicated specifically to that. We're in the final stages here, so I can't wait. For everybody that's interested in self-improvement, becoming better, straight up growth, and having classes together with me and calls, that's coming very soon. That'll replace woke-ass Discord.
Okay, before we begin, you do not suck at dating. You've just been dating people that suck. Okay, stop listening to those gaslighting daddies that are telling you that you're the problem. You don't make the test easier just because they keep failing. The top way to start having good dates with men that actually might be good in bed for once. Let's go! Okay, so the first thing you have to do is remember that you have nothing to lose. You already know you're that. You're literally doing a favor by even gracing them with your time. 1 + 1 might equal 2, but you don't need any to complete you. You have to treat yourself like a private membership club, and all these men are just on the wait list. Like it's time to put the in Soho House. Okay, the next thing is to learn your dating style. Like, I don't know how to text. I turn into a silent film and I have no idea what to say. I'm like, bado beep boop. So if a man wants to talk to me, you better book a reservation at Nobu. If you hate sports, tell him to buy you a Range Rover instead of taking you to the Rangers game. Never sacrifice your comfortability just to get a guy to like you. Lastly, you better not let anybody ever think they're too hot or good for you, okay? Leave your ladder at home. Never put your date on a pedestal. You are not an ATM. Never let these men withdraw your confidence or your energy. Never think that you're bad at dating. Just go on every date knowing that you're a baddie.
Dang.
Of course, that's TikTok. Someone said it has to be TikTok. It hit. Man, look, I've tried to browse TikTok recently just to get some content. I turned that shit off within 2 minutes. I can't. Not even. Let me not even lie. Maybe 30 seconds. I just see 2-3 videos on the little TikTok timeline and I go, yep, that's it. Close. Can't use this. No, sir. Brain cells have left the chat immediately and gets me thinking young people are consuming this hours a day. Hours a day. And this is how we get those videos where people are like, how many moons does the Earth have? And they go, 9. Oh boy, we're in trouble. Stop gaslighting me. Yeah, exactly.
Queen, the potty mouth on you. Listen, I'm not passing judgment here, but men will express how a woman's demeanor and, to a certain point, her language.
Oh yeah, don't forget, it's misogynistic to have preferences as men too. By the way, the women are allowed to say they are the table, like she was saying. She basically doesn't need to give men any of their or her time, that it's a blessing to even be in her presence, breathing her air. But if a man were to say the same shit in reverse, it's misogyny and you get banned from platforms. You'll get demonetized. It's happening before our very eyes. Why do you think he had to start this video with that like guideline warning?
Which can have either a positive or a negative effect on her level of attractiveness. And cursing like a sailor does not reflect an attractive civil tongue there, Queen. As for her points, you don't suck at dating, you just have been dating people that suck. Great way to point out the common denominator there, like saying 1 + 1 = 3. She also said, remember, you have nothing to lose. Yeah, that can also mean you have nothing to offer either. You're literally doing them a favor by gracing them with your time. Exactly how did this Queen make a direct connection?
They're eating the damn table. Thanks, Montana.
From having nothing to lose all the way to gracing them with your time. That's a homeless woman with nothing to lose telling a man who invited her to lunch he is lucky she is allowing him to pay for her food. Private membership that puts all these men on a wait list and a reservation? Him, bodies. Never let anyone think they are too hot or good for you. Wow, cool.
Avery, thanks, brother. Eating healthy is expensive is BS. I literally grew up in a third world country, dirt poor compared to these people, and my entire family of 100 plus never had any weight issues. If you want to, you can eat right. God damn, 100? Congrats to you. Sheesh.
Queen, are you going to practice mind control now? With all that plus the diatribe, there is zero doubt in my mind this queen's advice is pure gold. To who, I don't know yet. Ladies, this may trigger some of you. Comedy may be subjective, but cringiness is usually not. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to get the guy you like to pass on a date with you. And acting like a bat out of hell can do the trick. Moving on.
A couple of weeks ago, I was at my friend's house for a party, and there was a guy there who was like a friend of a friend, and we really hit it off. Like, I had so much fun getting to know this guy and just talking, and I like really felt like I could date this guy. And a lot of my friends came up and were like, it seems like he's really into you.
Oh, man. Another problem women have. They think that a man talking to you is like genuine interest for a relationship. Again, we know this is not the truth. There's a man knows from the get-go if this is a relationship girl or fun girl. If you're a fat, overweight woman, a vast 99% of men look at you as just a short-term fun chick. Besides chubby chasers, that's a fetish. So if you're not getting fetishized, you are just the fun chick. Dude, a man talking to you does not mean he's interested in a relationship. He is interested in having sex. That's it.
So this week I was doing some light Instagram stalking, as one should, and he has like several photographs with women in smaller bodies. And
here we go.
The places that my mind went instantly were just awful. And I hate that they were my first reactions. Again, these were over a course, like these photos were over the course of 10 years. And
she detectived over a course of 10 years. Please tell us what low self-esteem you have. If you're a strong boss, babe, if you're such a queen, if you're the table, if we're so lucky to be breathing your air, why are you stalking a man's 10-year Instagram history and the women? Why are you obsessed with the women? Aren't you the catch? Aren't you the prize? Isn't he lucky? You know what I mean? Do you see the disconnect here? This is why men don't believe and laugh at them when they have these talks about, I am the table, obsesses over skinny women. I'm big, I'm thick, I'm beautiful. Okay, why are you breaking down emotionally when you see him liking or following skinny chicks? Dude, no congruence in thinking whatsoever. Adam, thanks, brother. Good morning from Thailand. Took your advice. I'll be here for 3 months with my remote job. Thanks, Bo. God damn, Adam, good shit, man. Keep us updated how it's going over there in Thailand. Nice.
And I instantly just felt like I wasn't attractive enough or desirable enough.
There you go. Insecurities galore. She on medication too? Nelson, thanks for the 10, brother. Appreciate it.
In my body for someone to want me. And I hate that that was my first reaction, was due to my size and my plus size body that I love. I questioned my desirability for this man.
Ladies, let me point out a question that the bulk of men who just saw this section probably said out loud. If you really love your body, why was your first thought a negative thought about your body? Now, at this point, I am sure there are a number of emotional explanations to answer that question. That doesn't negate the fact a number of men will ask that same question. This isn't about her believing in body positivity or not. It's about the reality this young woman has faced when investigating the guy she likes past relationships and finding that she is physically different from the other women he has probably dated. Before we continue, this is something I want to bring up to you ladies. Men must be very conscious about themselves and work on improving themselves in order to attract the women they like. Men don't get the privilege of body positivity or phobia shaming. Women will...
Exactly. Ryan, thanks, brother. Big girls think a similar way lesser men think about women. Just because someone talks to you doesn't mean they're interested in something serious. Guys want sex, girls want attention. Yeah, exactly. See, a woman will get attention from any man willingly and will string along men that they have absolutely no intention of sleeping with, the same way a man will pump a willy, and he has absolutely no intention of being in a relationship with. The issue is women don't understand that this is the game that's being played, so a willy is getting hit up by a guy she finds attractive and thinks it's genuine. You're the like female version of an orbiter. You're the practice chick when the main 5 on the roster aren't available. You're like the backup of the backup of the backup. Your worst case, Hail Mary. Like, dudes, I'd rather pump a chubster than go to bed alone tonight. That is absolute brutal truth. Sis, I'm just trying to help you out. Whoever is listening. Yes, you could say men are pigs, men are disgusting, but I'm telling you right now, these men have nothing to offer you when you look like that. Ugh, you're only hurting yourself. Montana. Oh my lord, dude. They're the best banana gobblers on the market. How do you know they put in extra effort, huh? What have you been doing? What are you doing up there in Montana?
Reject men for the most simplest things. I want you ladies to keep that in mind while we listen to the rest of her story.
Oh, me, thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
And I hate the fact that I was like, oh, I wonder if he'd be willing to date a bigger girl. No, I hate that idea of being willing to date. Like, no. And the fact that I would even question my worth and what I...
He even has bull hand on his day. So he's used to them heifers.
I would bring into a relationship just because of 3 photographs over the course of 10 years. But that's what fat phobia does to someone. These are the feelings that I have, like real feelings I have based off of years and years of conditioning of being told that I'm not good enough, that me and my body is not good enough. And it's awful. I'm so glad that I recognized it.
Listen, there's a simple solution to all your woes, all your insecurities. It's called a diet. It's not that difficult. You restrict calories. See that meal you're thinking about eating? You just don't. Just don't eat that one today. And then that next meal tomorrow, don't eat that one either. And then the one after that. And then you could have that 4th meal. You can go ahead and have that one. Trust me, you'll live. It's not an issue. And all you need to drink is water. And that's it. Look at that. Problem solved. All it takes is time. Oh my God.
And I can have that ability to reset the mind. But the fact that
Oh, perfect. Yellow, thank you for reminding me. Someone said it's genetics. Nothing to do with life choices, obviously. Sarcasm. But that's what was that? Who was that in Biden's cabinet? The health secretary? Who the hell was that? That was saying literally that obesity is genetic. We're already prepping the landscape for that kind of mental gymnastics. We're getting ready. And by the way, I don't know where I saw this. Man, apparently this is what's happening. And of course, this is how it works. It's all about the money. Don't ever forget. We're telling people that obesity is genetic because there's currently a drug that's working on being approved in the market that's going to earn some pharmaceutical company billions upon billions of dollars in profits because this is going to be a pill obese people have to take. Ozempic? Is that what it is? Ozempic. Is it a diabetes pill? We got to look this up. Ozempic. It's a pill that's being developed, that's about to be pushed through, that treats fat people for the rest of their lives. Is this what this is? Let's see. Ozempic. Anti-diabetic medication used for treatment of type 2 diabetes. Is that what it is? It's an injection that helps reduce weight. New drug for treating obesity. What was it? Under the skin injection. Is this it? A new weight loss drug could become the best-selling drug of all time. Who can afford it? In 2023, the FDA will likely approve Eli Lilly's. This is the one. This is the one, guys. It's this one.
Tirzepatide for
Tirzepatide for weight loss, but there's little indication insurers will widely accept the medication. Okay, so it says an Eli Lilly drug approved for weight loss could become the best-selling drug of all time. Money, profit motives. But concerns are mounting about who will actually be able to afford it. So this is the key here. This is where so watch this. This is where the money wheel starts to turn. If you label obesity a genetic problem that afflicts people by birth. Health insurers cannot decline coverage. This is the ploy right here. The entire reason the Biden cabinet is saying that obesity is genetic is because health insurers cannot decline coverage for people seeking this drug, aka the potentially best-selling obesity drug of all time that you can't say no to and you must cover. How many people in the US are obese? Let's see. Roughly 2 out of 3, 70% are obese. 70% of people qualify for this drug. 70% of Americans cannot get turned down for coverage for that drug, tirzepatide. Wow, man. Invest. I'm telling you, that's a good one. Hey, don't. That's not financial advice. I have to cover my ass officially. I'm just saying, personally, I'm going to be looking on getting in on some of this shit. So, just saying. Oh, it got approved on May 13, 2022. Look at that. Achieved up to 15.7 weight loss in adults. 15%. When will it be available? Company aims to double its capacity and produce that by the end of 2023. They're already ramping up, boys. Smart money's already been in this one. There you go. Look at all the questions. Will my doctor prescribe tirzepatide for my weight loss? It's a sub-Q injection pen. Isn't that something that your doctor has to administer? There you go. So that's what you need to know about why the administration today is trying to get it labeled a genetic problem in order to make maximum profit off sick people. This isn't about helping you. It's never about your well-being and your health. It's about the money. And they do such a good job too. Look in the indoctrination, in the mainstream. Fat is in, fat is beautiful, fat is lovely. Don't fat shame. Fat is a protected class. Fat is genetic. Here's this new drug we just developed. It'll help you out. Listen, man, the game that they play is so deep. So deep. You have no idea how many layers you gotta peel back to see the truth. Nothing is what it seems in this world. America is built on profit only. And it's sad. This is why I say women and men are victims today. When we see modern women videos, when we see like, I am the top, with some chick that's got type 2 diabetes already, you're a victim. You got played by pharmaceutical companies and dirty politicians who shake hands behind closed doors that are about to benefit. And you're their little soldier. You're out here on TikTok spreading the disease, the message. You're making videos of how about it's good and healthy to be fat. Being fat isn't unhealthy. I'm gonna say that's why Lizzo got promoted so much. And the Jabba the Hutt dude who was on the whatever podcast, Gorlock the Destroyer. I remember reading that in the comments. This shit made me laugh hard.
Even went there. It's devastating. Really, really sucks.
And there it is, right there. The privilege of blaming everything on an external reason of a phobia. Ladies, have you ever heard a man say you have short phobia if you prefer a taller man? Have you ever been accused of having poor phobia if you prefer a man with a good job? Has anyone said you have bus phobia if you don't want to date a man without a car? Fam, does anyone else see what I am getting at? Women are allowed to say their preferences in men, and as a double standard, if they fear or doubt a man will like them for a certain reason, they come up with a phobia or shaming label. You know what, fam? I'm gonna take a page out of this playbook. Ladies, if you don't invite this handsome gorilla out on a date, you need to look deep inside and face your pythicophobia. Phobia link in the description. Moving on.
Plus size dating. Let's talk about it while I put some makeup on. First off, let me start by
Drive, you have no idea how much you got roasted in the chat on the whatever podcast. Test. Brad, we see.
saying that dating is hard and a very vulnerable thing, no matter what size you are. Let's start even before you go on a first date, right? The hype leading up to it.
Gravy.
You constantly fixate on, are they going to think I'm fat? One thing I've learned that's helped me switch my mindset with this is that just like you have a type,
In Montana, so I gotta get your practice in on your off days.
you are somebody's type. Let that sink in.
Gross.
Which I understand is hard to come to terms with because we've been told our whole life that our body is not lovable. When I was dating, people would always tell me Don't think about if they like you. Think about if you like them. Like, I don't want to hear that. To me, that wasn't helpful in any way because you physically cannot help but worry about if they like you. You're dating.
So far, this queen has been the most upfront about plus-size dating. That is the most positive take I have heard on this audit. To her point, just like you have a type, you are somebody's type. I agree with that as long as we can all accept that does not translate into the majority. Ladies, it is logical for a man who is 5'5" or 165 centimeters tall to accept that there are women out there who will accept him, but the bulk of them will prefer a taller man. Body size is in the same ballpark, whether we admit it to ourselves.
You know what else is crazy? We don't have a conversation of desperate men that target fat chicks because they feel like they can't get laid any other way and that they feel that they're easy and that's the only options they have. There are men that specifically target obese women because that's better than being alone. They're out there. I've met some of them. You guys probably know some of them.
Themselves or not, men and women have to improve on themselves. If you don't believe that, then why is this young queen applying beauty enhancers to improve her looks?
I'm going to share some things that were actually helpful to me when
And no, somebody said chubby chasers in the chat. It's not even chubby chasing. Chubby chasing, it's implied there that they actually look for and like. It's a fetish. I'm talking, there are men so desperate, they're not even attracted to these women, but it's all they can get. It's better than my hand, bro. It's better than being alone, bro. I'd rather have some fat chick than nothing at all. Those kinds of guys. Yeah, they're out there.
Make sure they have seen some form of you that's most up to date. Whether that's like a picture on your dating profile that's full body or on FaceTime before you go on the date. For me, that just took some pressure off because it's like, you already knew what I looked like before I got there. Also, this might seem super simple, but wear a color that does not show sweat. Because you're going to be nervous and you're probably going to be sweating. And the last thing you need to worry about is if your sweat stains are showing. And one last thing. The size in your jeans is the least interesting thing about you.
I like the content she showed here. As to her tips, an updated pic of you is probably common sense, but I understand what she meant as to make sure your pics are angled to show how you currently are, so there is no waste of time. Color that doesn't show sweat. What, are you going to dress up in a gym suit for a date? Just say loose dark clothing. It's less cryptic and more to the point. The size in your jeans is the least interesting thing about you. Here is the part where I am going to sound like a total jackass, but I will challenge women to prove me wrong. If most men should look past your jean size to get to know you, then why don't most women look past a man's height or job title to get to know them?
Now that's a lot of damage!
I'm just saying. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.
Look past your wallet, babe. Love me for me. Yeah, you know how that goes. Back to reality, boys. Whatever podcast. Ugh. Take me back to Eastern Europe.
I'm a huge monogamist at heart. I want undying commitment from the person that I am dating and that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
Oh, so this one is MAGA girl drops truth bombs about Western women. Okay, so this one may be positive. Here we go. Here we go.
I give that to them and I expect that in return. And I think our society playing with that boundary is ultimately leading to a complete breakdown of healthy relationships. It's why you're seeing the vast majority of Gen Z unhappy in their relationships. It's why we have the lowest marriage rate since America began recording.
Gotta say this. Someone wrote, started the Spartan Challenge already, read 3 books, and lost inches off waist. We had to delete, or we didn't delete it, but we had to restart the server and delete all the channels and remake them because censorship on Discord. The amount of men and the progress they've made, unbelievable. I have a community under, construction at the moment, guys, so don't worry. Something that's far more stable than Discord, but the amount of gold nuggets of wisdom, progress, truth, and experience that was in there, you couldn't have found it anywhere else. So shout outs to everybody that did the Spartan Challenge and continues to do it. It's never too late to start. You can start it whenever you want. You can do it multiple times in your life. It's like your compass to get back to your true north, right? It's trying to align yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically. And all it is 6 months, guys. Just give it a shot.
Marriage rates in the 1860s, and we have the highest divorce rate as well. So we're unhappy when we're dating. We're not getting married. If we do get married, we end up getting divorced. And as
Someone asked, does the Spartan Challenge cost money? Nope, it's completely free to do. Costs you actually zero. Probably saves you money too.
a result, Pew Research has found that our generation is just taking ourselves off the market entirely. We decided it's not even worth it. So I think that's a huge component.
Are you talking about that recently released data from Pew? I mean, there's a whole bunch of data points, but the big one that I took from it was, I think it was comparing men and women between the ages of 18 to 29, and they found that women between the ages of 18 to 29 were twice as likely to be in relationships than men in that same age group.
But interesting study. So the first one that I referenced, the majority of Gen Zers, if you are in a relationship, you are unhappy. I think the figure from Pew, if I'm remembering correctly, and obviously I don't have it right in front of me, was about 73% of us who are dating are unhappy, really unhappy in our relationships. Those of us who aren't dating are intentionally not putting ourselves on the dating market for either casual or committed relationships. But the study that you're referencing was fascinating. That came out a few weeks ago, that women our age are more likely to be in relationships than men, which makes you think, who is everybody dating at the end of the day? If the women aren't dating the men, then how did that statistic end up coming to fruition?
What crosses my mind is I think there's perhaps two explanations. One, women in that age group are dating older men, 30 to 40. But I think the bigger thing is that...
Someone's asking where the Discord is. It's this. Put it up on the screen for you guys. So it's just the Tribe of Men Discord. I think you could Google us and find it. Anyways, if you go down, we had a bunch of channels. We had to delete them just for safety. But if you go down here and you see Start Challenge here, this is where all the rules are laid out from that video, the Spartan Challenge video. It's the video on the home of the channel. When you click on the home of the Tribe of Men channel on YouTube, it's the video that plays. It's this one. This is the Spartan Challenge video. And come over to the Discord, okay? And you will have an expanded list of everything I said in the challenge video. Men are putting up their pledges, they're checking in, and you got your accountability buddy here to help you with everything. These are all the books that are listed. I didn't go through all these books, but I gave everybody a list of books to start reading at list. The physical stuff for the working out part. You got the sexual transmutation, stopping bad habits, all the foods you should be eating, diet. I go into all this stuff, right? And then you just hit accept here for your pledge. People do their pledges here. Look, start date. Somebody just started it right here, 4/19/2023. And you pledge what you want to do. And there's a bunch of these. We used to have thousands of them, hundreds of them for sure. And then you do your check-ins. And guys are checking in. Look, this dude's on day 67. Woke up at 0700 hours. Coffee, what he ate. He's checking in with everything he's eating. Another guy's going to talk about something else that he journaled. Look, successful day 114 for this guy. He got 70 kilograms on a squat, blah, blah, blah. Some issues he's running into, some not. Day 90, got up at 9 a.m. Look, people are just, look, 91, 93. And people are walking through their days and what they're doing and continuing everything. And it's the powers in sharing. We had to reset this channel, but we had accountability buddies here. Basically, you would post in this channel and you would ask for help. But this has everything you could need. We had to reset the channels. We have over 10,000 members. A lot of them are doing the Spartan Challenge. A lot of people have had life-changing differences happen to them in the span of this 6 months. And again, I'm working on something personally to make sure that we don't ever have to worry about censorship against lives. But in the meantime, and we have sections on the mind and the body too. You got meditation, journaling, mental health, books, motivation, all this stuff, before and afters, the gym, nutrition, diet, recipes, health, hormones, anything you want to talk about is here. You surround yourself with the right people.
Women are maybe think they're in a relationship or are in a relationship, and they're sharing higher quality guys. So, and there's this concept called hypergamy. Women are all chasing after the top tier of men. So a lot of women are happier sharing a top tier guy than settling for a guy that's actually on their level.
So, go ahead. I was gonna say, I agree with you. I think I made like a TikTok the other day that was like, get yourself an average man, ladies, or something like that. Because, like, the majority of your audience, I would say, is average males, right? We're like,
there's some chads.
Well, yeah, but it's very it's like what, less than 5% of men are making like $100,000 a year in America or something like that. Like it's really low. So
most people are average.
Yeah, just average. Like, so I think we need to normalize the fact that, like, if you get in a relationship he doesn't have to be making the same or more money than you, right? Because that's true equality and like equity or whatever, however you want to phrase it. It's about what you give to the relationship. And so whether that means that you're a stay-at-home mom and he's out there working full-time or vice versa, it's about like everybody doing their part, whether you're man or woman, whatever role you want to play. So.
Yeah, but here's the problem is that you basically, what you have going on in the dating marketplace is average women don't want average guys.
I'm encouraging them to. That's what my podcast is about.
Call me crazy. Why wouldn't average women just decide to stop being average ourselves and raise the standards for what we expect from the men that we're dating?
Sorry, explain that one more
Rather than settling for an average guy, why wouldn't we just demand more from the men that we're dating?
Because it's very hard for some people to take.
No.
Well,
Men respond extremely well to boundaries. They do, psychologically. If you set a boundary for a man, either intentionally or unintentionally, he will honor that boundary. For example, if you let him continue getting away with cheating on you and being half in, half out of a relationship, being a situationship for months upon months upon months without ever committing to you or wanting to put a label on things, that's a boundary that you've set, saying it's acceptable for me to be treated that way. Why wouldn't we as women, actual feminism, I suppose, to be theoretical about this, demand more from the men that we're spending our lives with?
I agree, and I think like here's where the problem lies, right? Men end up leaving because if that girl that's demanding respect and demanding boundaries, now she becomes high maintenance to them. This is, again, I'm speaking anecdotally, but I've heard this from men before. Now she's becomes high maintenance, so they're leaving and they're going to find somebody that just says yes all the time.
So what if we all did it? I hear all the time, all men want are sex. All men want is sex. All men want is sexual partners. What if we as women just said, we're not okay with that anymore.
All assisted.
We want more. Wouldn't that force men to rise to that occasion? And similarly, men who might be listening to this, you should be going after women who expect those boundaries, because a rising tide lifts all ships, and that's going to improve.
Well, the genie's out of the bottle. I mean, I think we can say in an ideal world, wouldn't it be fantastic if we did away with hookup culture? And I think that is desirable, but I don't think, I think the culture war has honestly been lost to decadence and degeneracy. So
hedonism.
So there's no hope.
I mean,
lost.
I think the culture war has been lost because you have academia, you have journalism, you have the mainstream media, which is all basically very, and without really going so much into politics, it's very left-leaning. Every single university in the country has a feminist studies, a gender studies, a women's studies program. I mean, now this is getting into men's rights. There's no equivalent men's studies or men's rights things in education. We're 2 blocks away from UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara. It's the frequently ranked #1 party school in the U.S. Major hookup culture here, and I would say across most universities and colleges, there is a major hookup culture. And then beyond college, there's a major hookup culture, where it's just casual sex, situationships, all this stuff. I really think it's going to be a challenge to walk that back. I don't see
how about instead of walking it back, we as a generation and as a society acknowledge we are at the end of our rope, that we've never struggled more as a society from a cultural perspective than we are right now, despite living in.
That involves women taking accountability for the decisions they make as well. And we know in the world today, that's not going to happen in the West. We treat women like we treat adult females like they're toddlers. No responsibility, no accountability. It is, unfortunately, when you tell a grown human being that they made a bad decision, don't worry, sis, just manifest it differently. You're a boss, babe. It was meant to be. Or when your decisions are relegated upon something like astrology. Such a Pisces move. Okay, alrighty.
And arguably the most progressive and advanced society ever. We're miserable. So much so that a third of us as women in our teenage years, and a significantly higher portion of men in their young adult years, say we don't even want to be here at all. So maybe rather than walking back, we choose a new path forward.
Well, but so, and you consider yourself pretty conservative, right?
Yeah,
so,
secret's out. I'm extremely conservative.
Yeah.
Shocker.
One thing that occurred to me is, social media and dating apps I think that these are majorly at the forefront of hookup culture, all this stuff. So government intervention, like how do you unwind the damage that social media and dating apps has done?
Well, that's the problem. You can't unwind, in my opinion. And this is the really hard reality of where we go from here.
Okay, so that means you can't go back then. Then it's lost. The tides have turned. The culture war is over. That's what that means if you can't go back, like she's saying. That's exactly what he was saying earlier. It's over. What has to be born out of this has to be something completely different.
We work a lot with generations older than us, and I cannot tell you how often every day I hear Gen Z is beyond all hope, Gen Z is destroying America, your generation will be the end of us, when in reality somebody else built this world that we have grown up in and have really struggled to come into adulthood in, and now has been dropped in our laps and we have no idea what to do with it moving forward. Technology is a quintessential experience of what our day-to-day life is like, what reality is like. It involves our school, our jobs, our dating relationships, our sex is happening online. Let's just be totally honest. We've had a really long conversation about that on this podcast. I don't know that you can walk it back. I think we as a society would have to come to a cultural conversation point and change minds and culture from the inside out rather than regulatory measures to do that by saying, this is not working. We need to do more. I sound crazy that I'm like one of the only people in my own life that has never downloaded a dating app, nor have I ever wanted to. I've never had a desire to. I don't seek out opportunities to watch adult content. I don't surround myself with opportunities to do that because I've set a different standard for my life and encourage the other people in my life to do that as well. Imagine if we all banded together, regardless of politics, where everybody is seeking to divide us on this issue, and start today by saying, this is not working. Generation Z is falling apart at the seams, and clearly our dating life is a great place to start that needs more help than almost any other aspect of our culture. What can we do differently, returning to traditional values, but in a new way that would take us to a stronger future?
I don't think it can be undone, honestly. I think it's just going to be the status quo. I mean, you have the...
You either return a tradition, period, or you don't at all. You can't return to tradition with a new twist on it, like she's alluding to, in a different quote way. You can't. It's going back to the old way or bust. The new way she's talking about is implementing some femme-centric ideology inside traditionalist beliefs, and it's somehow turning into this amalgamation of the new world, quote, successful dating market and marriage and relationships. It's not gonna happen, period. This is here to stay, man. I honestly think that America, although we are far on the left pendulum, where we're going to return is not going to necessarily mimic what tradition is. I think we're going to be in some, for sure, godless society that will maybe stop the hypersexualization to a point, but hypersexualization will still be rampant. If anything, I think the hypersexualization is going to be to the point where, because you're seeing it in media today with that dude that was dancing on the devil, this Sam guy, what's his name? This other fat dude that's dancing the most disgusting shit ever I keep seeing on Twitter. I think we're being numbed to such an extent. Yeah, Lil Nas and Sam Smith. We're being numbed to a point where the shock value wears off and it just becomes part of normal everyday living. I think that's where we're going to settle. Because if you compare Sam Smith or Lil Nas to Madonna openly being called like a devil-worshipping whore and all this crazy stuff. If you look up at some of the dirtiest videos early Madonna did, in comparison to today, in comparison to videos like WAP from Cardi B, it's a clown show. We've been, I would say, indoctrinated, and we've normalized hypersexuality so much that we today, us, everybody watching here right now, can go back and look at a Madonna video and laugh to ourselves and go, ha, wow, that was so tame back in the day. They thought that was a problem? This is where we're going. But in the future, what we're seeing today that we're considering, oh my God, this is disgusting. Be like, they thought that was crazy. Wait until you see the world today. Yeah, and it will become normalized, and therefore you'll be numb to it. It doesn't matter. You'll be surrounded by it, and you will not have an emotional response. There will always be a sect of society, a counterculture that we're kind of seeing today. I guess you could say maybe trad wives, maybe red pill, maybe things of this nature, where a conservative sect is emerging among the people, but it will stay a sect. It will stay counterculture, and it will not be mainstream. What I think everybody's hoping for today is that the counterculture eventually that society will turn around from the degeneracy and the hedonism, but that's not true, man. We're going down. Just like state punk rock, emos, stuff like that was a form of counterculture back in the day, depending on what era you lived in. Who else was it? The hippies, hippie counterculture. But that's not mainstream today. There are remnants of those cultures today, but as a whole, not at all. Nowhere near the mainstream. I think you'll see trad wives and red pill in the same fashion, where they'll have remnants of them inside mainstream culture, but the whole, I guess if you want to call it a movement or a lifestyle itself, will never be mainstream. We're too far gone.
Basically the destruction of the nuclear family. It's not gone, but I mean, isn't it the majority of people are being raised in single mother households?
People say it's acceptable. The majority of Americans say it's acceptable.
That and the study of single mother households. I mean, you're like 75% or something like that. We're like 90 out of high school, like, you know, more percentage like
70 to 90% that you will end up homeless, you will end up drug addicted, you will end up in prison, you'll end up with all these problems being raised in a single mother home. The statistics are absolutely, I want to say, insane. Worse than insane. It's a modern day tragedy that you can live in a society that's considered the wealthiest, most powerful, most progressive in the world, but you can't do something as simple as create one successful nuclear family. As a matter of fact, 30%. By the last time the statistics were studied, 30% of households were single parents. Their children growing up without adults present. Imagine. And we want to consider ourselves healthy. This is a healthy society to you. When two people can't even come together and stay together for the children. This is a joke. The cultural rot we're experiencing today is disgusting. There's no word. Why not? Thanks, brother, again. Hard to hear, but nonetheless, most people are average. Most people have an IQ between 80 to 115. This is normal by almost 80% of the population. Not what one would call intelligent. This is what one would call intelligent. Yeah, it is based today. It is noble. It is extremely, what I would say, worthy of respect to see a man that does not involve himself in that is attempting to start a family or has started a family, that has and is shepherding current full family with kids successfully. I have nothing but the utmost respect for those kinds of men that are doing good man shit. Salutes to you, brothers, that are in successful relationships, guiding your women and your children correctly in this disgusting world.
Or get arrested, like all that kind of stuff. Like single mother households are like not good for kids. They're just not. I understand there's circumstances where some men leave and there's nothing to do about it, but that's just like that's why I'm divided on that issue.
Don't ask me to get married and have kids, of course, one day. I just won't be signing papers in the West.
Because if we make this general statement like, you know, keep the nuclear family together.
Look, man, it's super important. I don't care what you believe in, the nature of women, any of this shit. You always will need for the children, your woman, whether you want to be married or not, or whatever you want to call your situation. You need to have the mother of your kids present in your house, quote, the queen to the king. Now you can start to branch out into conversations about, well, successful man, concubines this, monogamy, polygamy, all this sort of shit, that's fine. At the end of the day, when you're passing down your seed, you need to have your woman next to you in the house with the children there to ensure your legacy has the highest chance of success. You need a direct hand in their upbringing. It doesn't get closer than the woman and the children living under your roof. Period. Point blank. No matter what anybody says. If you say anything counter to that, you're just an NPC bot that's drinking the Kool-Aid of red pill rage. Real men handle their business. Smart men find loopholes even when they're at a disadvantage. So if your laws are not in your favor, you need to do what that footballer did. You need to start putting all your assets in trust, blind trust, managed by other corporations that's in other people's names, whether your family or yours, 3 companies removed. Accountants and lawyers know how to do all this shit and protect your assets, period. If you feel like you found a woman that you can trust, a woman that you vetted and feel like would make a great mother to your future children, because passing down your legacy is the ultimate thing you do. A sign of failure as a man is where your bloodline ends with you. And I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want my child raised by a single mother. I don't want to have multiple kids by multiple baby mamas and all this stupid shit, furthering the decline of my bloodline through all these splintered seeds that go out into this world from a broken home. Not me, bro. Period. Never.
He leaves. How is it her fault? You know? And then you could say, like, well, she picked a bad guy, but
Right, well, there are ideal and unideal circumstances,
right.
for sure. But I guess just more generally, not pigeonholing ourselves in a single-parent household conversation. I'm curious what all of you would say. Do you think that our generation is happy? Do you think that we're thriving?
That's a good question. What's your thoughts on adoptions? Never doing it. I know it sucks for all the kids in the system. There's other people with bigger hearts than mine. I'm not putting 1 second into a kid that isn't mine, period. Sorry. I'm not doing that. I don't mess with single mothers either. Don't care about my kid. Mend your relationship with your baby dad. I'm not playing Captain Save a Household stepdaddy over here. You're not my dad kind of shit. No, not me, dude. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Do you think that this progressive society that we've spent so many decades trying to build a utopia to live in is working?
I don't think any previous generations were either happy. I wouldn't say happy either. Like, obviously, Gen Z's, like, hookup culture, blah, 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 they're so blindsided by that, but it's because it's just, like, occupying them. Like, living in a college town, living here in Isla Vista, I go out, I see people have meaningless hookups, all this stuff. But to them, it just, like, that's what college to them is about, and that is kind of, like, ingrained into their minds from previous generations of people, too.
So how do we stop?
We can't.
Yeah, I want to have faith that we can like do a drastic turnaround, but I don't think it is. The internet in itself, there's so much privacy of what somebody could do on their phone anyway, that like, I think we're too far gone, honestly.
I also genuinely believe that people don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, I think one big issue is, so let's talk a little bit about divorce too. So I think there's really 2 solutions to the divorce issue. It is either so men are disincentivized to get married because of the financial risks that are involved. And, men are waking up to the fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce, 80% of marriages are 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So one of 2 things or both things have to happen. Either we as a society, we need to re-stigmatize getting divorced, which right now there's no longer any social stigma. There used to be. There's no longer any.
Not only just stigmatize it again, social pressure, but put financial pressure on there. Put legal pressure on there. First of all, the idea of no-fault divorce, whoever made that up can burn slowly and completely ruin entire generations. Secondly, if you cheat on your spouse, if you defraud your spouse in any way, you do something that grounds for divorce, you should absolutely right to all the assets, period. I want to thank Ronald Reagan. So, if you committed a transgression that is grounds for divorce, you should lose absolutely all your rights and your assets from said divorce. Everything you've ever gotten together, period. That means no alimony, no child support, and no wealth acquired during the marriage. Likewise, to avoid single motherhood and it exploding in society today. Parental rights, or I should say reproductive rights, should be granted to men. Simple. When a woman gets pregnant, it took 2 people to get her pregnant. Both people have to decide to go forward with the pregnancy. If a woman decides to go forward with the pregnancy, a man may opt out from any responsibility, financial and otherwise, from the child. This also means that he loses any ability to come back in the kid's life in the future, period. Okay, so once you sign those papers that say you want nothing to do with this kid, you legally have nothing to do financially, everything with this kid, nor are you allowed to come back in the kid's life and have a change of heart. So don't make that decision on a whim, okay? And at the same time, it protects you as a man if some nutbag sperm jacked you and wants to trap you with a baby. Okay, it goes both ways. Stop incentivizing single motherhood with government benefits. No more welfare for babies. Period. The only welfare that people should get for kids is if they're in nuclear families under one roof. If you can prove you live together, if you can prove you're still together, then the government should give you tax breaks, should give you money to help you out, should incentivize families staying together. We're incentivizing broken homes, hence more broken homes. It's not actually hard to fix this shit. What happens when you fix this shit is that family courts lose billions of dollars in arbitration. The custody courts lose billions of dollars in child support payment. The government loses billions of dollars in checkups and all this other bullshit. You now no longer have a broken home, which means you can't siphon money from single mothers that are dependent on the system, therefore you control it. The broken kids that come out of said homes that will be forever dependent on the teeth of the government through whatever else is needed. I don't know. He's gonna need big government to play daddy for him, big government to give him loans for things he wants to do, which his own daddy would have worked for and got him. He is essentially cradled to the grave, dependent upon the government, and simultaneously, basically, for 80 years of his life, producing money for the system. That is why it's broken. We have a financial incentive to keep society broken. There is money involved in keeping men and women separated. If men hate women and women hate men, the government gets paid. How's that for a regular for you?
Social repercussions. That's not going to happen. The only thing that can happen is we need to change the marriage laws to re-incentivize men to get married. So there can no longer be, and that might come to the detriment of some women, because a woman who does fully sacrifice her career to raise a family, there is to some degree a legitimate argument to be made to continue supporting her in the venture. However, I mean, I don't want to get too far down that. There are some arguments to be made there. There are definitely arguments for child support because it's for the benefit of the child. However, the way it's supposed to be, women are incentivized to get divorced because there's a financial reward. So you never sign a contract with someone who is rewarded for breaking it. If the male's a breadwinner, the woman's not, and there's a dispute in the relationship, it can be very tempting to be like, well, if I divorce him, I get this much money and I'm not divorced. So I think that probably the marriage laws have to be rewritten. However, go ahead.
I was going to say, so the law doesn't specifically say, you get all the money from divorce, right? It says whoever is making the most income is getting alimony.
So yes, if the breadwinner, then and
Halle
she
Berry
gets
went for it.
divorced.
Yeah.
If she gets divorced, then she might be.
Chris, thanks, my guy. What are 3 to 5 books you would recommend? Shout out to Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins for motivation and discipline. Cybernetic for understanding the self-image and the ego. That's one of the most powerful books I've ever read. There's a new book that I've read not too long ago. I think it's like the amalgamation of 10 books, 10 self-help motivational books into one. I want to say U Squared. The book is called U Squared. Forget who the author is. It's a PhD. It's the shortest book you'll ever read in your life. I think it's like 40 pages. It's 40 pages of absolute heat. I interviewed some old dude, some people were calling Grandpa Chad, an older guy that watched the channel. He's this Greek dude, looks like a Spartan. He was telling me about this book, U Squared. He was right. Probably one of the most eloquent books written. Not a lot of filler. And then you have all your usuals like Power of Now and 5 Second Rule, I think it is, and all these other books. Those are the ones that stood out to me. Have you heard the song called To Be a Man by Dax? Nope, don't really listen to rap like that, brother. Sorry. Most of it is trash. I've seen Dax's some videos, he's been mentioned in others, but don't care for it, to be honest.
Paying alimony payments to men. However, the stats also further show, I think it's like 97, it's either 90 or 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. So there's that, and then... Yo, thank you, man.
Hello, Brian. Get me
bias.
Dubai's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to go to Dubai just to see. I don't plan on living there, but maybe. Who knows? You never know. I'm not gonna say never, but it's gonna be interesting to see because I've activated all the dating apps just to have the authority on it built up, and I want to do a video on the differences here in America, Eastern Europe, and somewhere ultra competitive, full of millionaires like Dubai. I already have an idea in my head of what's going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see it play out that way. Besides the copy-paste texting, dinner dates, going out for a drink, a coffee, whatever, what's the dude, I cannot dictate how boring and monotonous conversations can be, and how down in the dumps your expectations become of says, why should men chase trash and be ashamed for not wanting to? And then Rolo, I think this is what Rolo's referencing in his stream the other day. Apparently there's something going on with, I told you guys 2023 was going to be the year. It was? Okay, let's play this out then.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I have a fun topic I'd like to talk about today. It kind of concerns, but doesn't really concern Rich Cooper, who you see here as the bald gentleman, and Rollo Tomasi, who's got the headphones on. Both these guys are I don't know if you might call them partial dating.
So can somebody give me the rundown on Better Bachelor's channel? It says they call it a cope. Joker isn't interested in the router on chasing women. So is he basically going your own way completely? Hit the like button on the way in. Let me see this. I wanted to show you guys this. Play Better Bachelor.
Coaches, you might call them red pill content creators. I'm using these two as an example because they're two of the first guys I listened to when I came to YouTube and started looking up men's content. I have nothing negative to say about them other than the fact that I think they just do not understand men that don't feel that chasing after women is a priority. And I don't know why, but...
Confirmed not a CIA agent. Probably being looked at by them.
The minute a guy says, you know what, I really don't care about dating, I'm just going to do my own thing. Now, if I happen to bump into a nice woman or I have a conversation with one, some guys would like to date them. Other guys don't care at all. But for some reason, it seems that if a man's, I don't know if I'd say priority, because I don't think either of these guys put it as a priority. But if a man chasing a woman or making himself attractive or making himself high status or available or pickup lines or smooth or comfortable with women, for some reason, if that's not on a guy's radar, these guys think that men are coping, that like men are tapping out.
It says BB is a go your own way or do your own thing and is against dating the roaches out there. Interesting.
They're giving up. Oh, poor me. And yeah, that's true for some guys, I suppose. And if you're a guy that says, yeah, that is kind of me, like I would like to date, go listen to Rich Cooper, go listen to Rollo Tomasi, go listen to some of these other coaches. I think they have good information to listen to. As a matter of fact, I think they have good information to listen to overall. Rollo's book, The Rational Male, I think is almost like the handbook to men in the world today. I think it's a great read. There's nothing wrong with that. But I came across this. And while I think of it, please, if you have a Twitter account or you'd just like to follow along with me and you don't now that Elon...
All right, so he wrote on Twitter, I'm guessing. Someone had to say it. So he's responding to monk mode as a cope. So I call, how was it, guys? Sorry, I have my cannibalization of the red pill, quote, manosphere, quote, self-improvement space, essentially, because everybody's looking to... It's like the same problem that news and media organizations are having where they're fighting for eyeballs, fighting for attention. So somebody has to say the craziest shit. Like, look, how can you possibly attack
Happy to help. You both look amazing. Thank you. I think it was a good view. So we will use it again. Condom? Nope. So we did it like we did it last time, yesterday. Я помню, можно не читать? А что, с этим не будет уезжать? Все равно? Ну, просто надо под прямым углом тогда. Не знаю. Небольшой срок, подождите. Не, он все равно будет уезжать. Все равно будет уезжать. Я буду держать. Только по ветру давай прям. Зачем? Потому что так темно, посмотреть, как мне пора. Вчера было не так. Все, давайте вам позвоню. Все, дальше не тянет. Мягкая подуха. Мягкая подуха, нужна жестче. Ничего не знаю. Как бы снять, чтобы теперь все это в рот. Зачем же все прилетело? I don't know. No, I don't think so. $19 centimeters?
Where is my moderators? Thank you, Jeremy Solo. Oh. Really? 7,000? Thank you. So, did you like it? She's not typing. Thank you very much. Maybe a bit too fast. Sorry about that, but it's too hard.
Attack monk mode and call it a cope. And we're cannibalizing ourselves because now somebody has to one up the other and say outrageous shit. It's just guys going on self-improvement. It's just a guy that maybe is taking time off for himself instead of maybe going into the dating pool failing or getting his heart broken, or maybe getting in a relationship that he's not ready for and can't provide everything to take care of a woman in the manner that he wants. But essentially, it's like we're getting a space full of grifters, people who have no experience in the field, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just out in reality, man. It's just a bunch of regurgitated shit today that we're seeing. Monk mode is a cope. Imagine that take from a community that's supposed to be about bettering men.
Elon Musk owns Twitter. It's a lot more free space, and we can talk about things, although there's still some bugs to be worked out, he's admitted to. I'm over there at Bachelor Joker. I've got about 3,000, almost 3,000 people following me over there. Apparently, you're not taken as a serious content creator and personality, I guess, unless you have tons and tons of followers on Twitter. I guess that's the new bar to be measured by, because I've emailed a couple of people asking if I could maybe either get an interview or talk to them, and I think they're looking at how many followers I have, and they're like, "Nah, you're nobody." So, you can't really relate how many people you have over here on YouTube to Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, please follow me at Bachelor Joker. So a guy named Paul, the best men's podcast ever, 100%, he made a post and he said, monk mode is a cope. It's just an excuse to you tell yourself so you don't have to talk to women. And then Rollo Tomasi said someone had to say it. Now, I had replied to the original tweet by Paul.
It says, I don't get why content creators want to bash people who just want to be left alone. It's as if they want rage clicks. Well, yeah, there's some sort of homogeny going on in the message. It's becoming stale. Almost everybody's kind of repeating what the other's saying, and you have to get more and more ridiculous. Your takes have to be spicier and spicier. Short form content is now dominating everything. So if you don't say something in a bite-sized 15-second clip, then, traction on your channel drops. You don't get as much visibility. TikTok basically took over the world. YouTube's playing catch up. Yeah, so the message has been watered down for the masses tremendously just to get the sound bites out, unfortunately. I mean, we're living in a new era, guys. And it's gone mainstream, especially after Tate and everything that's going on. And they're painting a certain, how do I say, like a caricature of what the average consumer of this kind of content.
I didn't follow up with Rollo's thing. I thought I'd do it in a video instead because, again, I've only got 3,000 people following me on Twitter, so it's kind of like yelling into the void. So I figured, hey, I'll come here and yell about it. I'll yell about it where I actually have more people following me. The problem with this mindset is it assumes that all men have the same priority and the same desires as these two guys do, which is women or dating or wanting to talk to women or getting laid or trying to get a girlfriend or whatever. How are you going to tell somebody that your dreams and your passions, if they're different than mine, are a cope? That'd be like me saying, you know what? All men should be able to work with their hands and chop wood.
And that's 100% true. I've been thinking about this the past few days because when I listen to other creators, it kind of is like a window into their soul and the way they think. Like the boys down in Miami, that's because they're engrossed in the Miami lifestyle with Miami kinds of women. So they have that kind of thought process. Plus, who knows how they are in their personal lives, the kind of test levels, man, how they were raised, you know, maybe some of them are go-getters, super ambitious dudes. Maybe they do get a sense of like self-esteem boost from women, conquering women, you know, whatever it is, man, material possessions, etc. So some guys will have that message go out. Other guys somewhere in other parts of the world may be dealing with something more traditional in general, right? They might be married or dating seriously and talking about that kind of lifestyle overseas. It just depends, man. But yeah, the kind of content you create, you can kind of peer into the creator and see kind of where their mind state is at. I know that's true for me. I try to stay as general and as, I guess, impartial, but it's impossible, dude. Because I've been in the club lifestyle. I've been in the whole monk mode lifestyle. I've, you know, done extended breaks, self-improvement stuff. Went hard into chasing money, super materialistic. You know, went hard into like degenerate dating and hookup and all the. I've been through kind of all the phases, so I understand at least a bit and a piece of each one. But yeah, some of the channels go ham on a certain lane of the manosphere, you could say, which is neither a good or a bad thing. I mean, it's like red pill comes in phases, man, in different shades. You're gonna go through a bunch of them. Maybe in the very beginning you have no experience with women, and what really gets you off is conquering and finally getting your first, second, third hookup, fourth hookup, whatever it is. It makes you feel high. You get that meat box rejuvenation, that brand new good. And then you feel really good about yourself, and it like that's your springboard in life, and you start to ascend into greater things. I mean, it works that way for some guys. Others, they want to retreat into themselves, focus on improving themselves first, rather avoid the dating / hookup culture, and then come out a brand new man that they deem worthy of then looking for a woman that's high quality, high status for something far more serious. I mean, everybody has a different shade of what they're looking for.
Would and live on a...
But it is sad to see. The only thing I really can't stand, like I don't care about pickup artists, MRAs, passport bros, MGTOWs, all this shit. I don't care what camp you're in. I can't stand the fakes. I can't stand the ones that are grifting hard, charging people money for stupid shit. I can't stand those people. I can't stand the ones that have never been out there, have no experience, don't understand shit. They just read a paper, read a book, read some shit online from other guys' experiences, and then they regurgitate it back to you guys. I can't stand that shit. I personally made all these mistakes. This is why I know what I know.
Farm and raise chickens and be completely off grid and know how to bow hunt. And if you don't, that's a cope. You're not a real man. How insulting would that be? That's kind of the same thing that these guys are saying here. I'm not going to dwell on what they said, but I am going to put this out there, and because this is very important for people to understand. If you're a man that has decided not to make a woman a priority in your life and chasing women and want to...
Donovan's a straight turd. That dude finessed his own father out of money. So he's responding to something Rollo and Cooper said. Who knows? Who in the chat knows what that is?
Women and wanting to sleep with women a priority in your life, there's nothing wrong with that. And as a matter of fact, I've got some screenshots here I'm going to share with you. And I think these guys maybe don't understand to see what we see. I think Rollo's actually been married for 20 years, so he's been out of the dating pool a long time. Maybe he knows what works today. Maybe he doesn't, and he only knows what works 20 years ago.
Yeah, I go back and forth on the red pill women, guys. I'll be real. Sometimes I'm like, whatever. If you're a man and you choose to listen to that side of the aisle speak about dating and stuff, that's your prerogative. You know, the whole don't take advice from a fish on fishing. That's good. You do you. But there are some grifters that are women that are just riding the coattails, because all you have to do is be a little traditional or just literally regurgitate what men are saying coming out of a woman's mouth, and there's going to be tremendous amounts of simps in the comment section. Save her. We need to preserve her. Yes, queen. Simping hard. If you're a woman right now, it's no better time than to start a YouTube channel, TikTok, short form, whatever, literally regurgitate red pill commentators in a woman's form, and you will absolutely explode across all the platforms. You can weaponize simps real easily.
I don't know. I don't listen to them. I don't have the luxury of having enough time to watch a bunch of other content creators. But what I do know is, even with me, things have changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years between how to date women, where to meet them, what you can say to them, their attitudes, and everything else. Things are changing rapidly in that marketplace. And I just can't believe that for some reason someone would shame men because they...
That's an interesting one there. He said, Andrew Tate, men's issues / male loneliness. Also, Andrew, profits off and insults those same men. I mean, you have to understand, men get motivated in a different manner. Like, you're used to being feminized and coddled and talked to and uplifted through conversation. Like, the reason he shits on men, says brokey, flashes cars, flashes money, lifestyles, because that shit is what motivated him. Certainly stuff like that motivated me when I was a kid. Seeing nice things was a motivational experience. That wasn't envious about anything. So the way, at least all the men I grew up around with, is when you see another man be successful and he's giving you a no bullshit, real, raw message about how to get there and what you need to do, it resonates. We don't sit there and coddle each other and talk and tell you, well, you're doing a great job. Just keep on trying and maybe do a little bit tomorrow. And good job, Timmy. You failed. That's okay. Go have a little ice cream. No, like, we don't talk to each other that way. Get the fuck up. Get after it. Stop being a bitch. Stop making excuses. You're going to die alone. Nobody's going to care about you. You're not going to leave behind a leg, right? Like, men need that kind of talking to get to where they need to get. So on one end, he is motivating people. On the other end, it's going to rub off all the little feminine men wrong because he calls people brokies and take care of your business, do this and that. This is what you need to escape, right? It rubs off soft boys the wrong way. Says the cam girl business actively contributes to these issues, Bo. Again, who opens up the computer and clicks on the website and goes on there and speaks to women and then gives money? Like, I'm all about agency and accountability as well, brother, but come on.
They say, you know what, I don't want to chase women. And let's be honest with it. I've got some fun screens here that I'm going to show. Let me see if I can size this correctly here. Just a second. I don't know why it's not showing the whole thing. I think this is from 4chan, maybe 8chan. I'm not sure about all the chans. I don't spend any time over there. But what this is it's a screenshot where the trolls will say, hey, let's start a trend. And they said, we want to start a trend. Go bald for Bravo Lima Mike. They said, let's get this trending on Twitter and Instagram. The idea is to get women, particularly white women, to shave their heads for Bravo Lima Mike, guilt them into getting rid of their straight white hair to show solidarity with black women. And it worked. This girl named Maddie, I showed my solidarity by shaving my head. And here's the thing. If you notice, this is from June 5th. This was posted right here, June 4th. Now, maybe someone shopped this. I don't know. But nonetheless, there's still women out there shaving their heads to show solidarity. And this has nothing to do with Bravo Lima Mike at all.
What the hell?
Even if she didn't shave her head, social validation, neediness, attention, social media. They care more about their likes and their validation on social media than they do about meeting a good guy. And if things go slightly wrong, do you think she'll not put you on blast? Do you think she'll not spread your information all about across the internet? You know, you never hear this from the coaches and everybody else, or just go spin plates. Have 7 women you're talking to at the same... Well, if you can get 7 women, furthermore, if you can get 7 women you actually want to talk to that are worth dealing with, and even if you do that...
By the way, that takes so much time to get multiple women like that. 7, dude, 3, 4, 5 already starts to become a headache, and it's basically like a full-time job of texting constantly nonstop, having to give them enough attention. Quote, the spinning of the plate, right? You have to keep it spinning fast enough to stay on before it falls and it breaks, right? Using the terminology, obviously. But when I was in college, dude, That was my life. I was essentially filling the black hole through hookup culture. And after school would just be straight up thirsty. No, what was it?